Sometimes in life, you only need to do it once. Just once. You don't have to keep begging, explaining, or proving yourself. You do it once with confidence. You mean it, and trust me, he'll feel it. He'll cry for you, not because you hurt him, but because he'll finally realize what he lost. See, a woman's power doesn't come from how much she gives. It comes from when she decides she's done giving to someone who took her for granted. Self-respect is the most powerful form of attraction. It's not about what you wear, how you look, or what you say. It's about how you carry yourself when nobody is watching. When a woman knows her worth, she walks differently, she speaks differently, she loves differently. She doesn't beg for attention because she understands that her energy is valuable. When you respect yourself, you teach others how to treat you. You become a mirror that reflects what you allow and what you don't. And that's the kind of power no man can ignore. Because truth be told, a woman with self-respect doesn't have to demand love. It naturally finds her. See, a lot of women confuse love with sacrifice. They think the more they give, the more he'll love them. But what they don't realize is that constant giving without balance only drains your soul. A man starts to see your love as something guaranteed, something that will always be there no matter what he does. And that's when he takes you for granted. But when you have self-respect, you know when to give and when to stop. You know when to talk and when to stay silent. You know when to stay and when to walk away. That's not pride. That's wisdom. Self-respect gives you the strength to let go of anything that costs you your peace. Men are naturally drawn to confidence, not arrogance, not attitude, confidence. And confidence comes from self-respect. When a man meets a woman who knows her boundaries, who doesn't tolerate half love or half effort, it shakes something inside him. He might play it cool, but deep down, he respects her because she's not chasing him. She's choosing herself, and there's nothing more attractive than a woman who doesn't need a man to validate her worth. She loves him, but she doesn't lose herself in the process. She gives love freely, but she never forgets who she is. That balance, that inner strength is what keeps a man awake at night, realizing he can't play games with her. Self-respect also means accept that not everyone will value you the way you deserve, and that's okay. You can't control how someone sees you, but you can control how you respond. You don't beg, you don't chase, you simply remove yourself because you understand that losing someone who doesn't see your worth isn't a loss, it's a blessing. When you operate from a place of self-respect, you stop settling for almost love, for half efforts, for empty promises. You stop trying to prove your value to someone who was never ready to appreciate it. And when you do that, you glow differently, you attract differently, you live differently. And that's when the tables turn, because the same man who thought you'd always be there suddenly feels your absence. He remembers your kindness, your patience, your loyalty, and realizes he misused something rare. That's when regret kicks in. That's when he cries, not because you left, but because he finally understands what self respect looks like in action. It's quiet, it's graceful, but it's powerful enough to change everything. A man values what he fears to lose. It's human nature to take for granted what seems constant, to overlook what's always there. But the moment something precious slips away, that's when its true value becomes crystal clear. When a woman gives her heart, her loyalty, and her time, a man can get used to that comfort. He starts assuming she'll always be there, always forgiving, always waiting. But the moment she decides to step back, that's when his reality shifts. Because when a man feels he's about to lose something genuine, something real, it shakes him in ways nothing else can. He may not show it immediately, but deep down, it terrifies him. Losing a woman who truly loved him is a pain no man forgets easily. When a woman loves with all her heart, she gives him more than her presence. She gives him peace. She becomes his safe place, his motivation, his calm in chaos. But when he takes that peace for granted, he's not just losing her attention, he's losing his balance. You see, love that's constant feels comfortable, but love that can walk away becomes unforgettable. The moment he realizes that the same woman who once cared deeply can now walk past him without a word, he feels something break inside, because that's when he understands she wasn't weak. She was patient. She wasn't desperate. She was devoted. And when that devotion disappears, he's left facing the truth that he lost something rare. Men respect boundaries that have consequences. If a woman keeps forgiving without change, he'll keep repeating his mistakes. But when she draws the line and means it, that's when he starts to value what he's losing. Because fear of loss creates awareness. When you love a man and then show him you can love yourself more, you shift the power. He starts realizing your silence speaks louder than your words. He replays the moments he ignored your feelings, the times he made you cry, the days he thought you'd never leave. And each memory cuts a little deeper, because men don't always cry over what's gone. They cry over the realization that they caused it to go. It's in that space of loss that appreciation grows. He begins to see your worth in every empty conversation, every quiet night, every meaningless interaction, the way you used to care, the way you listened, the way you made him feel important. Those things echo in his mind. A man might act strong on the outside, but when he's alone, that strength fades, because no matter how tough he pretends to be, losing a woman who was loyal, real, and loving is a wound that doesn't heal fast. It humbles him. It teaches him that no amount of attention from others can replace genuine connection. So when you walk away, not in anger, but in peace, you leave behind something more powerful than words. You leave behind the fear of losing something he'll never find again. And that fear, that deep, unshakable fear, is what makes him finally value you. It's what makes him realize that you were the one thing he should have held onto tighter. And by the time he figures it out, you've already learned that your worth was never defined by what he could see, but by what he lost. Silence and distance speak louder than words. There comes a point in every woman's life when she realizes that arguing, explaining, And begging for someone to understand her is wasted energy. You can talk until your voice cracks, cry until your heart aches, but if a man isn't ready to listen, your words will never reach him. That's when silence becomes your strength, because silence carries a message that words never could. When you stop explaining yourself, stop reacting, stop reaching out, that's when a man starts to hear everything he ignored before. He begins to feel the weight of your absence, the emptiness in the spaces you once filled, and the peace that now surrounds you instead of him. Distance doesn't just separate bodies, it reveals truths. When you step back, you give both yourself and him the gift of clarity. You begin to see what he really brings to your life, and he begins to see what life looks like without you in it. And that silence, that space, becomes his mirror. It reflects his actions, his neglect, his mistakes. It forces him to sit with himself and realize that maybe, just maybe, he was the one who pushed you away. He starts to replay moments in his mind, the way you used to laugh at his jokes, the way your eyes lit up when you looked at him, the way your presence made everything feel right. And suddenly, he understands that he traded peace for pride, love for ego, and now silence is all that's left. What most men don't realize is that silence is not weakness, it's power. When you choose not to argue, not to defend yourself, you reclaim control, you shift the energy. Because silence confuses him, it makes him question what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're planning. It's in that uncertainty that he begins to feel what you once felt. The doubt, the pain, the longing. And while he's trying to figure you out, you're finding yourself again. You're healing, rebuilding, and remembering who you were before the noise, before the confusion. Distance gives you space to breathe, to reflect, to grow. It turns your pain into wisdom and your emotions into strength. The beauty of silence is that it speaks directly to a man's conscience. When you stop engaging, you stop feeding his ego, you take away the attention that once fueled his confidence. And that's when he starts missing you. Not because you're gone, but because the validation he depended on has vanished. He begins to realize that your quietness is not indifference, it's consequence. He'll try to reach out to test the waters to see if you'll react the way you used to, but when you stay calm, composed, and unbothered, it shakes him. Because now he knows the power has shifted. Your silence becomes his loudest lesson. It teaches him that love is not a guarantee and your presence was never owed to him. When you walk away without noise, you leave behind an echo that lingers in his mind. That's when he finally understands that distance isn't punishment. It's proof that you've outgrown the need to be understood by someone who never truly listened. Don't chase love, make love chase you. There's a kind of beauty in knowing your worth so deeply that you stop running after what's not running toward you. When you chase love, you put yourself in a position of desperation. You start bending your standards, ignoring red flags, and accepting less than you deserve just to feel wanted. But when you stop chasing and start attracting, everything changes, because real love doesn't have to be begged for. It's drawn to energy that's confident, peaceful, and self-assured. The moment you shift from pursuit to presence, you begin to see who was truly meant for you and who was just enjoying the attention. When a woman chases, she gives her power away. She makes him the prize when in reality, she was the gift all along. Men can sense energy. They know when a woman is trying too hard to be seen. And the more you chase, the more they pull back. It's not because they don't care. It's because people value what they have to earn. But when you stand still, confident in who you are, you become a magnet. The right man will recognize your energy, your calmness, your glow, and he'll come closer because real men are drawn to peace, not pressure. That they are drawn to women who don't beg to be loved, but choose to love themselves first. The truth is, the love that's meant for you will never make you feel like you're in competition. It will meet you where you are. It will match your effort, respect your boundaries, and protect your peace. But before that kind of love can find you, you have to stop chasing the kind that drains you. Chasing love means you're trying to fill a void that only self-worth can fill. When you stop chasing, you give that void a chance to heal. You begin to enjoy your own company, your own growth, your own happiness. You realize that love is not about completion. It's about connection. And the stronger your connection to yourself, the more powerful your presence becomes. Men respect women who respect themselves. They may play games with everyone else, but they think twice before playing with a woman who knows her value. When you stop chasing, you show him that you are not desperate for validation, that your life is full whether he's in it or not. That's when the tables turn. The same man who once ignored your efforts now starts to notice your silence. He starts wondering what changed, what shifted, why you're no longer available. And that curiosity turns into pursuit. He starts chasing you, not because of your looks or your words, but because your energy feels unattainable. You see, love is supposed to flow, not be forced. It's not about who can chase harder. It's about who can stand still in their truth. When you stop running after people who don't see your worth, you make room for the one who does. You stop proving, stop pleasing, and start attracting. And that's when love, real love, begins to chase you. Because nothing is more magnetic than a woman who knows she doesn't have to run after anything. She simply has to be. When you walk away with grace, you create emotional impact. There's a kind of silence that speaks louder than shouting, and a kind of goodbye that echoes longer than any argument. When you finally decide to walk away, not out of anger, but out of peace, you leave behind something unforgettable. See, most people expect drama. When relationships end, they expect tears, shouting, begging, and explanations. But when you walk away calm, smiling, composed, and unbothered, it shakes the other person in ways they never expected. It's not your words that haunt them, it's your peace. It's how you handled the ending with so much dignity that it forces them to question everything they did to lose you. A graceful exit is not about pride, it's about knowing your worth. It's about realizing that love doesn't have to be proven through pain, and walking away doesn't mean you failed. It means you chose yourself. When a woman walks away with grace, she takes her power with her. She doesn't try to destroy his image or explain her side to the world. She lets her silence tell the story. And believe me, that silence is heavy. It makes him think about what kind of woman can love deeply, get hurt deeply, and still walk away softly. That kind of strength is rare, and that's what stays on a man's mind long after she's gone. Walking away with grace means you've accepted what is instead of trying to fix what's already broken. It's the moment you stop trying to convince someone of your value. You realize that anyone who truly saw your worth would have never risked losing you in the first place. And when you walk away gracefully, you're not doing it to get a reaction. You're doing it to find your peace. That's what makes it powerful, because now the control shifts. He can no longer read your emotions. He can no longer predict your moves, and he starts to feel the absence of your energy. That's when the memories start flooding back, the laughter, the care, the warmth. He begins to realize that your calm exit wasn't weakness. It was the loudest statement you could make. There's something unforgettable about a woman who leaves quietly, because it's not her anger that lingers, it's her grace. It's the way she smiled instead of argued, the way she stayed kind instead of bitter, the way she disappeared without hate. Men remember that. They may move on physically, but mentally, that image of her walking away, strong, peaceful, untouched, stays with them. It makes them question their choices and replay the moments they took for granted. Grace has a way of haunting people without effort. So when you walk away, do it with your head high, your heart steady, and your peace intact. Don't slam the door. Just close it quietly and let time show him what he lost. Because the woman who can walk away gracefully leaves behind an energy that can't be replaced. And when that realization hits him, it doesn't just hurt, it breaks him. He'll remember you not for how you left, but for how beautifully you did it. The real power lies in doing it once with confidence and peace. You don't need to keep proving your worth, repeating your boundaries, or explaining your heart over and over. The truth is, when you do something once with full conviction, it carries more weight than 100 half-hearted attempts. When you finally decide, I'm done, and mean it from your soul, that energy changes everything. People feel it. The man who once ignored your pain suddenly notices your silence. The one who thought you'd never walk away starts realizing you're serious. It's not the act itself that shakes him. It's the certainty behind it. Because doing it once with peace sends a message words could never express. When you finally take that step, you're not doing it out of bitterness or revenge. You're doing it out of self-respect. That's what gives it power. You're saying, I've learned enough, I've tried enough, and now I'm choosing me. That kind of decision can't be faked. It's calm, it's steady, and it's final. You don't need to post about it, announce it, or seek validation. You just move differently. You stop engaging in the same arguments, stop chasing explanations, stop trying to change someone who never wanted to grow. And that's when everything shifts. Because when a woman moves with quiet confidence, the world around her starts paying attention. Men are used to women repeating cycles, crying, forgiving, returning, and starting over. So when you break that cycle once and for all, it hits differently. It confuses them at first. They think it's just another phase. But when they realize you're not coming back this time, reality sets in. That's when regret begins. They remember every time you warned them, every tear you shed, every chance you gave, and they realize they ran out of them. That's the moment a man understands the power of wants. Because when a woman who loved deeply decides she's done, she doesn't hate you, she simply outgrows the version of herself that tolerated less than she deserved. And that kind of growth is irreversible. Doing it once is not weakness, it's mastery. It means you've learned to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. It means you've reached a level of peace where you no longer need closure from others. You give it to yourself. You stop explaining your decision to people who were never listening. You stop looking for understanding from those who never tried to understand. You simply act. And that single action, taken from a place of strength, becomes your liberation. When you do it once with peace in your heart, the world feels it. You start attracting better energy, better people, better love. The man who took you for granted starts realizing he can't replace your calm, your strength, your loyalty. He'll think about it when he's alone, when he meets someone new, when he feels that emptiness he once ignored. Because doing it once means it's final. It's not revenge, it's evolution. It's you reclaiming your power with grace,